All right, let's talk about one of the biggest, and I mean biggest, sources of frustration and confusion at work. The real difference between your role and your responsibilities. Now, it sounds simple, I know, but trust me, getting this right can absolutely change the game for you and your whole team. So, let's dive in.
You know that feeling, right? Your calendar's jammed, you're bouncing from meeting to meeting, putting out fires. You're definitely busy. But at the end of the day, there's that nagging question. Am I actually working on the right stuff? Do I even know what my core purpose here is? We've all been there.
It kind of feels like this, doesn't it? Like you're a puzzle piece, but you have no idea what the final picture is even supposed to be. You're just floating. And that kind of uncertainty, it's completely draining. And when that feeling of confusion spreads across an entire team, well, that's when you get chaos. Important tasks get dropped, big projects grind to a halt, and then you hear it, that awful phrase, well, that's not my job. That is the #1 warning sign that nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay, so how do we fix this? Let's start building a solution. And the very first step is to get super clear on what a role actually is. And I'll give you a spoiler alert, it has almost nothing to do with what's printed on your business card.
So let's look at the dictionary definition for a sec. See that key word in there? Purpose. That's it, right there. This pushes us way past just a simple checklist of duties. It's about your fundamental reason for being there in the first place.
And here's the simplest way to think about it. This is the big idea. Your role is your identity inside the company. Are you the coach, the builder, the problem solver, the innovator? It defines who you are, not just the list of tasks you do every day. It's your strategic reason for being.
Okay, so we've got role figured out. Now let's flip the coin over and look at the other side. And honestly, this next part is where the light bulb really goes on for most people. It's the critical difference between just doing stuff and truly owning stuff.
So again, let's look at the formal definition. The key phrase here is to deal with. I love that. It doesn't just say to do. Dealing with something implies that you're engaged, you're taking action, you're seeing it all the way through to the end. It's active.
So let's put it all together in a really simple way. If your role is who you are to the organization, then your responsibilities are what you deliver. These are the actual, tangible outcomes that you and only you own. They're the proof that you're fulfilling your purpose.
Let's make this really concrete with a few examples. A manager is a role. That's the position. Trained team members is a responsibility. That's the outcome you own. Or think about an NFL coach. That's the role, right? But are they responsible for kicking the field goal? No way. The kicker is. The coach's responsibility is to get that kicker ready to succeed. You see the difference? One's a position, the other is the result you deliver.
I absolutely love this quote because it cuts through all the noise. Think about it. You might do 100 different tasks in a week, but what are the handful of critical outcomes that you truly own? That's where your real value is.
Okay, so now we have these two powerful ideas, roles and responsibilities. So what happens when you put them together? How do they connect inside a company to create a system that actually works? Hey, remember that feeling of being a lost puzzle piece? Well, this is the solution. When every single person understands their role, their purpose, and truly owns their key responsibilities, all the pieces just click together perfectly. There are no gaps, there are no overlaps, just a complete picture.
And this totally reframes how we think about an org chart. We usually see it as a top-down pyramid of command, right? But try thinking of it like this, a cascade of support. The senior director's job is to support the directors by giving clear direction. The director's job is to support their managers, and so on all the way down. Each level exists purely to help the next level succeed.
And that right there is the magic. When the entire system is designed for support instead of just control, everything just gets easier and more efficient. All that wasted time on rework vanishes because people are clear on the goal. Miscommunication fades away because everyone knows exactly who owns what.
So you might be thinking, okay, this makes sense, but it sounds like a lot of work. So what's the real payoff? Why should you and your team go through the effort of defining all this? It's simple, really, because this kind of clarity is a superpower.
I mean, just look at what you get. Suddenly, expectations are crystal clear. You get rid of all that confusion and stop people from accidentally doing the same work. You actually empower people to make their own decisions. And maybe, the biggest one of all, you finally unlock real, true accountability.
And we have to talk about the word accountability, because it gets such a bad rap, doesn't it? We hear it and we immediately think of blame. Who's going to get in trouble? But in a system with this much clarity, accountability isn't negative at all. It's a positive. It's the pride and the power that comes from truly owning your results.
At the end of the day, this whole exercise isn't about restricting people or putting them into rigid little boxes. It's the exact opposite. It's about giving them the freedom to act, the authority to make smart decisions, and the clear path they need to absolutely crush it in their role.
So I'm going to leave you with a question. Forget about your job title for a second. Think about your purpose. What is the single most important outcome that you are there to deliver? What is the one responsibility that you truly, deeply own? Answering that question for yourself. Well, that's the first real step to making your biggest impact at work.